Hey, hello, my loyal customers. So, as in the my most recent short that I posted as of this date, I informed y'all that I was going to make a Murder Drones related video. So, involving that, this is my theories and or headcanons. These headcanons or theories might already exist. I don't know. I have not really looked into them much besides looking at the actual series videos. So these are just my interpretations. First is involving Sin and Tessa. I do not think Tessa was alive at all during, like, obviously in the flashbacks we see that she was alive, but after what happened, like when the flashbacks were actually really happening, after that day, Tessa was not truly alive. I think that Tessa's body was being used as a puppet. It's possible because, as we see in specifically episode 2, when Sin is taking control of Jay's corpse in order to rebuild it and Jay, we see her being able to mimic the drones that she kidnaps with holograms, both the voices and their looks. Obviously, with Tessa, this is harder because you can't copy her looks, so she would have to use a flesh suit. And we have actually seen this in media. The most common example I know of is the purple guy. Because obviously, I don't know exactly, so FNAF fans, if you see this, please correct me. But I believe it's Ennard, at some point in the series, killed Michael Afton and used his body to escape the pizzeria, or the pizza place that it was. I believe it was the one with the circus animatronics, or the toy animatronics, sorry. So it's already possible that that's happened. Obviously, Tessa's corpse was kind of rotting from when we saw Sin actually reveal herself. So obviously it's possible. But we've seen that she cannot exactly mimic their actions or thoughts or stuff. Because when she copies Thad to try and trick Uzi and N in episode 2, she could not get Thad down to an exact. But Sin, obviously, was able to act like Tessa pretty much to a 1. But how? Well, first thing I thought, Sin had spent a lot of time with Tessa. Because obviously, before Sin actually killed Tessa, she was able to be around Tessa, observe her, see her actions, little habits, her speech pattern, and everything. So, keeping that in mind, there's a good chance that could have happened. Obviously, I may be wrong. And y'all can correct me about that if you've watched Murder Drones. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, the involvement with the Solver. I do not actually think Sin is the true Absolute Solver. The Absolute Solver in the show is a code that infects damage to drones. Those drones being the original 3 that we know about: Nori, Uzi's mom, Yeva, Doll's mom, and we see Alice, and possibly her own kid has it. Obviously, we don't get to see her kid use it, but it's possible that they also had it. And obviously, even though Sin, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sin is able to get through to the drones in order to try and take control of drones. Obviously, we see in episode 7, Uzi's body is taken over by Sin at around the end. Sorry, I'm not used to yapping this much. But, and that, yeah, where did I leave off? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to think. Well, where was I going with this? Because now my brain is just smush. Okay. So, yeah. Obviously, Doll had gotten damaged, but she also has more experience with the Solver than Uzi. My thought with that is, Doll was nearly taken over by Sin at some point, because V had actually killed. Well, it's known that V killed Doll's parents. So that would mean, in that scenario, that was where Doll had gotten damaged, and maybe she started to develop the Solver. The mirrors that we see in episode 3 in Doll's bathroom is another sign that she did not have good control over the Solver. Because like with Uzi, she could have broken those. Wait, I'm getting off topic. That's a completely different theory. Back on topic. Sin isn't the true absolute Solver. Okay. So, the Solver is developed in damaged drones. Doll got damaged by V's attack. Uzi got damaged by her railgun. That's how the Solver started to develop in them. However, we never actually see Sin get damaged. My thought is that we never actually got to see her get damaged is because she got damaged during production of her model. Because obviously Sin has a lot of experience with the Solver. She is able to take over drones, make them, pretty much put them in a cryostasis state, or just a state where they're frozen. Bring back drones, take away their memories, and obviously the base things, like grabbing and moving, creating, destroying, duplicating, and even more that we get to see in episode 8. So, but my thought is, what if she actually isn't the absolute Solver? What if she just let the power get to her head, and she's able to take over, and she's able to take different forms with practice? Obviously, Uzi is a genius in her own right, and was able to take over the body that Sin was using, as we see in episode 5. But there's a lot to it. Yeah, but the absolute Solver is a code. So my thought is there the true absolute Solver might actually not even be a drone? What if it's the person that actually made the original code for the absolute Solver? It is a stretch, that's for sure, but it's what I like to think, honestly. Because it's actually possible for that. Next with NV. Oh yeah, and another thought. When it comes to NV and J, those three actually do have the absolute Solver code in them. They just don't have access to it like Uzi, Doll, and the other three. 1, 2. So, and I think that actually might be related to, it might be passed down, because NV and J were never put through the experiments that Yeva, Nori, and Alice were. So the Solver is pretty much hereditary. It's a hereditary virus that lays dormant. The reason I think that NV and J have it is because when we see J, back in episode 2, I thought a lot of episode 2 and 5 in these thoughts. We see that Sin is able to take over J. And obviously, in episode 5, when it comes to N and V, Sin is able to go back into their code and try and delete their memories. That's why Uzi was getting into their heads and trying to stop Sin, even though she didn't know what Sin was. And I don't think Sin would have easy access to them. Well, maybe J, because as we see in the Meet J video, one of the more recent Murder Drones videos that also dropped all that J merch for you 5J lovers. Sorry, I'm not the biggest fan of J personally. But yeah, the way she actually could have infected them with the Solver 2 was when was in the scenario in episode 5, when it actually happened. Obviously, this is all just theories. Theories. It's less headcanons. And no, I'm not going to say the thing. Video theory, game theory, they all can Video theory can cover their own stuff, but I'm not going to take their catchphrase. Yeah. I am almost home, and I got a lot of stuff I want to do and need to do, so, I'm going to leave it here. There might be a few more videos like this, but besides that, I'll see y'all next time.